back to Love Your Food. This week, it's still the end of summer here in Ontario, so it's still the end of peach season. So we have made this beautiful and very simple peach pecan turnover. Very, very easy recipe, really, really delicious, and we're going to show you how we did this with these beautiful... Now, we're not using actual cooking peaches. These are just regular eating peaches, but let's start with our ingredients. So here's our peaches. We have a little bit of ground clove and a little bit of ground cinnamon. Some brown sugar. These are our pecan pieces. We just got pieces, not halves. We're going to use a little bit of lemon juice in here. Some little knobs of butter. We're going to use that when we bake everything. And we have bought puff pastry. We didn't. Anyone who has the patience to make their own puff pastry, I salute you, but we did not. So we're going to start with our pecans. We're going to get these in the oven for a little while. Just put them in a pie tin. And those are going to go in the oven for a little while. This is our preheated 400-degree oven. We're just going to put them in there for a few minutes. And we're just going to leave them in there until they're nice and toasty. So into our bowl, we're going to start. We got our brown sugar and our spices. That's going to start us off. A little dusting of salt as well. And then we're going to get our peaches. Now, we do want these nicely cut. And we were very happy. They're really nice freestone peaches. So... they come apart really, really easily. They come away from the pit very nicely. And as I said, these are not really cooking peaches. They're sort of just eating peaches, which means they're not going to keep their shape as well when they cook, but their flavor is still really, really great when they cook. So here Chef Caleb is just going to give them a little dice. This is a turnover. It's not like a pie. You don't want big slices or anything like that. Just small slices is fine. We're going to mix all this together with our other ingredients. We do want to measure how much we have because it's going to determine how big our turnovers can be. So here's our pecans. Once those are toasted to your liking, they can come out. Really, that's up to you. Some people like them a little darker. We just want a nice toasty aroma on them to get them nice and hot, a little bit crispy on the outside. Just perfect. So here we go with our peaches. We used 4 pretty big peaches. Because of the heat in Ontario this year, the peaches from Niagara were really big, which is great. They were very, very tasty. We ended up with about 3 cups of peach. And what that's going to do is sort of determine how many of these we can make and how much of the other ingredients we're going to be using in here, like the lemon juice, for instance. So we're just going to use just a quarter of this lemon. Just juice it right in there. And that's really it for the filling. The filling is very, very simple. So it's just those ingredients. And we're going to get that stirred together. And you just want to give it a very gentle mix. You don't want to break up the peaches too much or squish them or anything. So just a very gentle mix here. And get everything coated with the sugar and the spices. Make sure it's all well blended and well combined in there. It doesn't take very long, honestly, once it's all together. And you can change the flavor profile if you feel like you would prefer a little bit of any kind of other spices in there. You want some nutmeg, if you want some mace, anything like that, just perfectly fine to add that. We just wanted the clove and cinnamon sort of flavor profile in this. We're going to add our nuts. They're still a little bit warm. Just get those blended in as well. And already it smells really, really excellent. And then that's the easy part. So that's all mixed together now. So now we're going to deal with our puff pastry. So as I showed you, we have bought our puff pastry. So we've let it thaw. It's now down to about room temperature. And we're going to place it on our floured pastry board. You want to make sure you have a good dusting of flour on top as well, so it's not going to stick. Now, we do want to thin it out just a little tiny bit. So we're going to thin it out and stretch it not very much. We only want it to go a roughly inch in each direction. And so we're going to grab our rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use just a bottle or anything like that. That's pretty simple. And make sure you keep it well floured so it's not sticking too much. You just want to give it a gentle, gentle push until it's about an inch bigger in either direction and still square. And then quickly we're just going to cut it into 4 pieces. We're going to end up doing this twice. We have enough filling here to make 8 turnovers, which we did in the end. And we're going to do that in 2 batches of 4. So just very gently and carefully, you're going to cut this into 4 even squares. And each square will take you can divide this up in advance, or you can just sort of eyeball it. We're going to use this large spoon, and each of these squares will take 1 spoon of this nice filling. And then we're going to add that knob of butter in there. That's just going to add this nice richness to the inside of that. Really beautiful flavor. It'll combine well with the brown sugar, make it sort of a peaches foster. So this combination is water and a little bit of egg white, and this is just to keep it all sealed shut. So we're going to make sure that we keep the whole thing sealed. We're just going to do this on one side, get a little bit of the dampness on there. And then we're going to do the turning over part. And you want to be a little bit careful and just make sure that everything is sealed shut. So you want it to have a good seal between the top and the bottom layer. That egg wash will help. And then you can just give it a little tamp down with your fork to sort of crimp the edges and just make sure that it's all sealed. But you want to be careful. You don't want to poke the filling out or anything like that. You can gently adjust it a little bit. And then you're going to get those onto a baking sheet. Now we have a parchment lined baking sheet here. You can also assemble these on the baking sheet, which would make things easier in the long run as well. So from here we're just going to add a small little vent in these to let a little bit of the steam out. Just a gentle little cut. We're just going to add 1. And then we're going to give these a nice little egg wash. Now we have made a new egg wash here. This is made from a whole egg, and you can see it here. There it is. And we just whipped 1 egg, and we're just going to brush this on all of this. And this will give that nice sort of brown, golden brown, crispy texture on the top once it's all baked. So get that nice and covered. You can be generous with your egg wash, that's fine. And then that's going to go into your preheated 400-degree oven. And we're going to do that for about 10 minutes now. It sort of depends on the temperature of the room even. If you feel like it needs a little bit more time. Our second batch we actually did a little bit longer. And then after 10 minutes, we're going to turn it around. Unless you have a really good, very high-end sort of convection oven, you do want to turn it halfway through and put it in for another 10 minutes. Our second batch we did 12 minutes aside, and they came out a little bit better, honestly. And then after the second time, that's it. They're done. That's the whole thing. And you do want to let these cool a little bit because the insides are molten hot right now. But really, really delicious. Absolutely fantastic flavors. Really got the whole end of season peach flavor together. It was really, really excellent. Great for, again, this is a beautiful recipe for a Thanksgiving party or anything like that. We also made a little creme anglaise sauce to go on top, and we'll be doing that recipe next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So if you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe, and if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.